Well, after several bits of great work from our director of football over the last year, after several good performances on the pitch, and after a large slice of luck since the last episode, it is now very unlikely that we will miss out on a miracle, which will see FC Gifu head to the J1 League. We could be starting this head coach series with success we've never seen before. We are 2 games away, and crucially, we're only 1 point away. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 17 of the head coach with me, Daniel. The FM24 edition is treating us so nicely, and as you can see today, Tokushima have done us some huge favours, as have Imabari, it's got to be said. Despite averaging less than 2 points a game and despite some frustration in the last transfer window, followed by a number of key injuries too, we are looking like we're going to get promoted. We are 6 points clear of third with 2 games to go and a significantly better goal difference. We're playing two sides who are near the bottom of the table, scrapping for their lives. And the big question now is whether we win the title. If you're looking forward to finding out the answer and seeing how we got here, because there were some big slices of luck, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. My poor scheduling means it's not quite as much of a dramatic finish as I'd hoped, so I didn't realise last weekend Tokushima played first and they bottled their game, which basically made this a formality. But let's go and have a look at what's been going on. We've had a youth intake as well. We've applied for jobs where we've not really got anywhere. And we've just finished our 3rd coaching badge in 3 seasons. But for now, let's start with the results. And we'll do it a slightly different way this time so you can get a full picture of what's been happening. Let's go to the league itself. And let's go back to where we last were. And we'll go through the weekends and look at how the top 3 have got on in all of them, because that'll give you an indicator of how it's changed. So you were last with me for this one back in mid-August after deadline day, which extended our run of unbeaten league games on camera to a year and a half. We followed that up the weekend after with a bit of a weird performance actually. Tokushima won their game very comfortably, it put the pressure on us, but we were playing Imabari. We went 1-0 up with a first-minute penalty awarded directly from the kickoff, honestly less than 20 seconds in. And then they got a red card as they were chasing the game, which was pivotal because at that stage it looked like a matter of time and possibly that it would be a draw, which obviously would have made a huge difference going into today's episode. But in the end, they got their red card, and then Hanya off the bench popped up with 2. A 3-0 win, a magnificent result. Not the best performance in the world. I think we only have 4 or 5 shots on target. I'll just check. Yeah, we had 5, and 4 of those were after the red card. Just before the red, they'd had a barrage of corners. You can see 9 over the game. But they were really aggressive at that point. We just could not get through them. And unfortunately for you as a neutral, that somewhat ruined the promotion race. But I'm not complaining at all. Imabari won 2-0 at home, but on the same day, Tokushima lost 1-0 on the road. The following day, we made up for it with a brilliant 1-0 away win. Kanazawa were the opponents, and we were the better side, but they had a glorious chance. They had a lot of the ball, and they missed a penalty as well. A great save from Van Lam, who then got injured after that. But what a moment it was for him. Then we had that bizarre 6-week break, which was followed by Imabari getting a 0-0 draw on the road in the first game back. Same opponents we've got today, isn't it? Yes, let's hope it's not the same for us. We, though, won 5-0 at home to Okayama, who were absolutely awful, I've got to say it. They're up in 4th in the league, maybe they were preparing for the playoffs, but it's the easiest game we've had in a very long time. We have a look after that. Tokushima won 3-1 the day after. They got their result against Iwata to keep the pressure on. But then I didn't realise they were playing on the Friday night last week. And before I knew it, they'd lost. They were 3-0 down after 40 minutes. They got one back before the break, but no further doing. And that was the game that basically ruled them out of promotion. The following days over the weekend, a very good one for us. On Sunday, Imabari lost 1-0 at home to Yamagata, finally doing us another favour after offering us 2 jobs this year. Or 2 job interviews, I should say. And we got a solid 2-0 win at home to another playoff side. So, a very good performance. Despite having a few injuries, we had Gomez back in goal. We've had 3 or 4 that haven't been available most weeks. But we've done a wonderful job. And as a result, we are all but certain to be in a top tier next year. It's going to take a ridiculous turn of events for it not to happen. And the only question really is whether we finish 1st or 2nd at this point. Financially, I presume it makes a bit of a difference. It does. but promotion is the main aim. And then the question that comes is, can Hiroki Izumi deliver? Because he had a disappointing summer window here, but the squad he gave us this year, we started as relegation favourites, and by the time he'd finished that window, we were expected to finish top half. He has done a great job. He's given us good players. But the golfing class between the second tier and the top tier, from the 7 or 8 star players most teams have, from what we saw against Hiroshima with Isaac and Benza among others, it is a completely different kettle of fish. And the only thing that's going to stop it for us next year is if Izumi can go big. Well, I'm hoping we might get a job before then. Our reputation, which is now a record after 2.5 years by the way, is 2-star. We've got 3 coaching badges after 3 seasons here in Japan. We got the J3 League Manager of the Year last year. Surely we're a candidate for the J2 one this year. And you've got to remember this as well. If Imabari come up with us and we're the 2 that go up, Imabari got promoted first season, I think as champions from J3. I'm going to go and double check that very quickly now. I'm pretty sure they were the champions first season. No, they finished second. So they got promoted in the first season from J3. We got promoted the second season. And now we could both be going up to the top tier. Matsumoto have been up there as well. They're 7th. They could yet get in and win the playoffs. And it will be 3 sides that started in J3 that get promoted in a 3rd season of the save, which would be remarkable. We have got to point out that it is actually less than 2 points a game we're averaging. We've not been that brilliant this season. We've got 71 points from 36. I just wanted to go back to last year and see how it compared. Oh, actually, it was really low then as well. So 70 points won the title last year. It's a very tight and competitive division. No one really runs away with it, which has probably benefited us here. I mean, you can see some leagues where last year in the 3rd tier, we won it by 20 points. This year, we're 20 points clear of 10th. It's a very different level. Overall though, we just need to go and get a point or more today, and then Hiroki Izumi can be honoured as he deserves to be, because the squad he's given us is competitive, and if he can do the same next year, it might be a miracle. I've got a feeling we might be off by then. But let's go and have a look at the team selection. This is what I've gone for today. We've got a knock to Kubota on the right of midfield. Van Lam is coming back from injury but is not fit enough yet. And Gomez, to be fair to him, he kept 2 back-to-back clean sheets, which has helped us get promoted. So I'm not going to drop him for this one after that effort. Otherwise, it's fairly strong. Sato's got an injury at left centre-half. He was playing ahead of Endo in recent weeks. And a few others have been injured in recent times as well. Yukamori's back on the bench today, but again, past it and declining. We're going to need a lot of work in the winter. And the director of football, well, he might have a big budget for that now. But let's look at the 11 we've gone for today. Is Gomez in goal, Takahashi and Najim the fullbacks with Ortiz and Endo centre-half, Park and Tanaka the midfield 2. Tanaka got his first for the club a couple of games ago. Fujiwara makes his first start on the right, Ainaga plays on the left, and then Akita and Hanya, the 2 through the middle. I'm sticking with the permanent signings to keep them as fit and keep them as firing as possible. So let's go and get into this. An enjoyable day, hopefully a party atmosphere, and fingers crossed a result we can enjoy, and maybe a miracle we can achieve. Well, it's 3 changes for our host today, and they're going to have to get a result if they want to stay in this division, so they're going to be fighting hard too. We're just going to tell the lads to go and do what they can. They're in mixed form. We're in good form now. We've got a few wins in a row, but they've not been brilliant ones for the most part. Now let's get an eye on the other results, because if we get the latest scores up, basically, Tokushima have to win, regardless of what we do. And Imabari is going to determine the title. They're away at Tosu, who are in the bottom half, but are a side with a much better home record than away one. Early doors here is our hosts who are attacking. Fukuda into the bench, Tanaka does well. Put a lot of weight on that back pass, nearly fooled the keeper. The long ball forward is dealt with easily. Yamamoto goes into midfield. Saito releases his man. Yamamoto again. Back to Fukuda. Yamamoto in. Oh, it's not in. How has that stayed out? It hit bar post line, bar post, and then back into the keeper's hand. What a bizarre effort. I've no idea how it stays out. But for now, it's 0-0. We've got away with one. And Gomez almost lost his run of clean sheets. The other scores are all 0-0 that matter to us. And we've got to throw on the right in an aggressive position. Najim finds Tanaka from it. Back to him again, onto his left foot. Ball into the box to Akita. Support inside. Goes for the curling effort. Just off the woodwork. Keeper probably had it covered. And while I say that, there's been 2 very quick goals at Imabari. They're 1-1 after conceding and scoring. And we're on the front foot again with Ainaga. Park shot over the bar. We're starting to grow into this game now and look the better side. Tokushima's still 0-0, so not really mattering if we win this game or not. We're going to keep working hard. We can still win this game. Fujiwara's not had the best debut, or best first start, I should say. With 5 gone in the second half, we're doing the job. And much like most of the recent weeks, it's not been pretty, but it's been effective. As we've got a corner in, headed away from Endo. Mainaga will pick it up on the right though, and he finds Ortiz to Hanya. Into Takahashi, has scored a couple this year, and that one wasn't far away. Good save, tip wide for a corner again. We're definitely the better side here. It's a matter of time. Najim's got a corner kick. We've been a threat from these most of the season. 2 men up at the back post. Ortiz is one. Can't quite win it this time. Kagura brings it away. Don't concede from here. Or we should have fouled him there. They've got 4 on 3. This is a momentary problem. Saito gets away down the left. And Hanya does really well. Clears it away to striker. Back in the right back area. Everyone fighting for the team, but Aquino gets it. Down the right he goes. He cuts it back to Fukuda. And when there's a game with pressure in FM, it quite often goes wrong. The woodwork has been struck again. We're surviving by a whisker. Gomez makes a good save this time. Now they hit us on the counter and look a threat too. We haven't lost a game or a league game on camera with Gifu since the first day of the J3 League season when we got promoted. We lost 3-0 at Ehime and then we were brilliant after that. I don't intend for that run to end today. We've got a corner at the far end with Najim again. In-swinger to the back post. Ortiz up. In off the line. The defender tried to get it away. But in the end, I think it's going to be an own goal. Off the underside of the bar. Ortiz the threat. We talked about it before. And in a poor game, we're 1-0 up away again. Exactly what we did a couple of weeks ago. As Saito loses the ball to Akita. They're all back there working so hard. Ortiz gets the ball to Najim again. We can work it into midfield as Ortiz. Into Park. Has support in front of him from Ainaga. Akita again. Options out wide. Fujiwara's the man. Cuts in on his left. Looks for Tanaka. He can do the same now. Goes back to Fujiwara. Into Akita. Good save, but we're starting to purr. The goal has given confidence and now we're flowing. Surely it's a matter of time. Or is it? We're back at the other end with Ogiwara. Free header off the line. We've got away with some today. 2 have hit the woodwork. Gomez has made some great saves. We really have got away with a few. We've got 3 left-footed midfielders I've just noticed. We're 20 to go. I think it's time for changes, isn't it? Tokushima have just got the lead in their game, so they are doing their job. But Imabari are drawing at the minute, which means we'll start pushing up the table again. I'm not sure it's up to date there because it's still got us drawing. As Fujiwara is actually our best rated player on the pitch, but I'm going to replace him with Mochizuki. He'll go up front with Hanya to the right. Tanaka and Park in the middle both nervous. We'll bring on Kita for Park and switch them round. We'll also go for Sakurai. We'll replace Najima at right back. On the left of attack, we'll go Akita off for Take. And then Fukimori can come on at centre half for Endo, just to help us see out the game. That's the 5 changes made. We're going to stick with that for now. Hanya will go a bit further forward on the right. The rest of it stays exactly the same. We've got to keep an attacking threat. It's been our policy at Gifu so far. The best form of defence is attack. We've not got the best defenders in the world, so why not push forward where we've got a great front line and lots of depth as well. The Saito picks it up in midfield. He goes back to Kawano. Wide to the left. They're going to look for an equaliser here. Doesn't affect our promotion chances, but might ruin our title ones. Is Yamamoto. Down the line again. Here they come. We keep drawing games sillily, and that one is a brilliant save again. The offside flag goes up. Gomez wasn't a no. He's been magnificent in goal. He's come back in. He's coming in style. He's skippering the side. He's playing well. And he deserves everything he's getting. As Ogiwara gets it at left back. 6 minutes to go. We're almost there. Kagura finds Saito. Tempted to go a bit more defensive here, but it feels too early for that. Ogiwara down the left. I might regret it. Kagure's away. Ball in's offside. Must be offside. Saito scored it. It's given. That is a surprise to me. Look, more offside than the other one. And late on, we've got some troubles here. We're going to encourage the lads. But this risks falling away because we've conceded. And now from the kickoff, they're on the front foot. Have we got excited a little bit too early here? Kita's missed his challenge. Yamamoto's in. Oh, it's poor from Takahashi. We're in trouble here. 2 in a minute, is it? Ortiz clears away. Now we can counter with Mochizuki. Ainaga's still up, and this is the benefit of staying aggressive. Ainaga into the box, 3 in the middle. Goes back to Takahashi. He finds Tanaka, goes for the shot. Second goal for the club. Another absolute banger. It's into the corner, it's curled with beauty. And we're 2-1 up, and with that, promotion can be celebrated. Tokushima have conceded an equaliser right on cue as well. And Imabari aren't winning either. So as it stands, we're going to be champions with a game to spare. And we're about to enjoy one of the most remarkable achievements we've probably ever had in the head coach series over 5 years. Inoue gets in behind. He might score here. It's a good block by Fukumori. It's what we brought him on for. Not ideal this. I'm going to drop to cautious. Just make sure we don't get caught. With 90 seconds to go. FC Gifu are champions with a game to spare. What is going on in this save? We won the J3 League at Akanta. And now we've won the J2 League just. We're going up to the top tier of Japanese football. I don't know if we'll be here to see it. We might need to take advantage in any interest that comes. And Hiroki Izumi will have to do a lot of work to this squad with respect to make us competitive in the top tier. But this is one of the best starts to a head coach I can ever remember. We had a good start in Scotland back in FM21, but that took a few years to get us to the top level. This is a remarkable rise, and we've got to praise Hiroki Izumi. The squad he's given us for this year, it is far beyond what I expected. What we're going to do now is get through the last game off camera, and then we will be back in a minute for our end of season review, and we're also going to have a look at what we'd like to do next season. But that's going to be up to Hiroki Izumi. We have no say in transfer staffing or contracts, and that's a big problem when we go into a league as strong as the J1. Well, just before we go and do all of that, I thought I'd show you this because it's quite funny. We've got an A+ rating with the board, which you'd probably expect. We're doing a remarkable job. We've taken them from the 3rd tier to the top tier. Hiroki Izumi gets on really well with us and all is going brilliantly. Look at the supporters though. C+. They're pleased with everything. They've got no notable criticisms. And we've won 2 promotions in a row. And 2 titles in a row at that. But C+. Just be careful with it, eh? This is turning into a dream year in the head coach. We're going to have a lot of work to do in the winter. But first, we need to get through the final game. We could relegate Yamagata, I think. They are on 37. The side that offered us a job twice this year, or a job interview twice. Imagine we relegate them on the final day. That could be pretty impressive. We'll be back in a minute as we plan for a big jump in quality with FC Gifu. Well, we've made it through the final game of the season, and now we've got all the end of year messages. I was also going to say we could find out the budgets together, but it turns out they came all the way back on the 1st of November when we won the league in front of you guys, but we didn't actually look at it at the time. So let's go and find that first and see what it was. Here it is, FC Gifu in the league, board set initial budgets. What are they? Oh, £3 million transfer budget. 87 grand a week wage budget, which is what? Double? Roughly double, I think. No, it's saying 26 grand available, so we must be spending more than that. Yeah, we're currently spending 60, but I wonder if that's because of contracts that we've got promotion clauses and that, but no, that doesn't include them. He's just been offering out bigger deals because Ortiza signed a new one on 2.5 grand a week. Hanya's got nearly 3 grand, Najim 2.5. He has been rewarding them for playing well, but what we have got to bear in mind, which we'll come back to in a minute, is that a lot of these players are now out of contract or returning to their parent clubs after loan. A couple of those players he pre-agreed in the summer I was annoyed about though. They're basically going to be useless before they arrive. Let's go and get back to the inbox though. We had that supporter profile update which suggested we're growing a bit and hopefully we'll get a few more fans in through the door. The club vision is to attempt to avoid relegation. It can't really be anything more because I think it's the club's first time there in their history. They've been in a 2nd tier before and I think this will be their highest ever finish. It's a ridiculous achievement, but I feel a bit guilty for this one because you used to seeing me struggle in Wales or with horrible directors of football. Hiroki Izumi's just given me a dream and all I've done is put it together and played attacking football. We've got 2 team leaders, one of which is due to stay next year. Park is off after this weekend. So the dressing room's looking good. The team meeting we'll do off camera. The new season team report is not great. There's a lot of concerns. Bravery, determination, stamina, having players in certain positions. We'll look at the squad planner in a minute. And this is probably the bit I'm proudest of this year because we've had a lot of injuries. Park missed a huge amount of the season, and lots of others missed about 5 or 6 weeks. Now, we were lucky with a couple that they fell during international breaks or during that gap in September, but nearly every player in our first team has missed a month somewhere, whether it's Akita, Ainaga, Take, Fujiwara, who when he came in got injured straight away. Park, we mentioned, we had our goalkeeper out for a while. We have Fukumori out, Takahashi. So nearly everyone has had an injury spell at some point. We've probably not had any of those huge injuries to any first teamers, which maybe is something I've not seen a lot of in this FM, possibly something that's going to be tweaked when the full game comes out. We've got a training camp destination for next year. We can go to Japan or to Japan. We're going to stick with Gifu though, because I want to save money. 50 best players in the world. Jude Bellingham's up to number 2 now at the age of 22, just behind his Real Madrid teammate. And a new intermediary suggestion. We get those all the time. But that's for Hiroki Izumi to worry about. Nothing to do with me. Let's go and have a look at the squad planner though, because if you thought last year's one was frightening, well, this one's even worse. We have got no left wingers at the club at all. Fujioka leaving and declining. All the other options there on loan. We've got one striker in each position at senior level. Nobody else about because 2 of them are on loan and others have been sold or are leaving at the end of their contract. On the right wing, we have actually got 2 players, and if Kubota stays, we're in pretty good nick there. Centre midfield, we're all over the shop. We've got Kita and nobody else, and he wasn't good enough to start this year. Right back is another area that's okay. That backup who's coming in at the end of the season, he's declined physically even since we looked at him 3 months ago, so that's going to give you an indicator of what shape he's going to be in. But for 1 year, as a very emergency backup, I guess he can sit on the bench. The other one on the left is Yamanaka. He's coming in at the moment to be first choice, and while he's naturally fit, he ain't going to play in the top tier and do very well, let me put it that way. Ortiz is the only senior centre-half bar Fukumori, who is declining quicker than I can explain. And then in goal, we have still got both of them at the moment, but Gomez has been making noises about leaving. So there's probably about 3 positions where we're ready to actually go next year, and even that is only in a fight against relegation. No matter who comes up with us, we will probably still be the favourites to go down, purely because our squad is that much weaker. We've got no real superstars in the side. I'm interested to see what happens with some of the positions, because with Park leaving, there'll be a foreign slot in the squad, for example, and maybe we're going to see a little bit of magic based on that. With Van Lambe being the keeper, if Gomez forces his way out, we'll have 2 spare slots in that regard. And then what on earth is he going to do when he needs to completely rebuild a side? Because last year, he left it till deadline day, and he could afford to, because we still had 17 or 18 players that were competitive at this level and were going to give us a chance of doing all right. Then he had equality and we've flown, fair enough. But this is a different story. This is a side that's not ready to go. Half of the squad, as you can see, is 5 players returning from loan. And how many is that? 4, 6, 8, 10 players out of contract. It leaves us with a squad at the moment, as it stands, of 12 players. And that includes 2 goalkeepers, a breakthrough prospect, a couple of fringe players, and also a couple of aging players that aren't getting on too well. So I think it's fair to say the task is a lot bigger this year, but then so are the finances, so are the opportunities. And the best thing for us is we've got about 3 months before it all kicks off, so we can take our time and look for jobs if they're available. It's a weird situation actually, because I don't know if this has ever happened in a head coach before. My reputation after I did my 3rd coaching badge went up to 2-star, as I mentioned a bit earlier on. The clubs has only just gone up to 2-star when they won promotion last week. So there was a period when my reputation was bigger than the clubs. Definitely not something we've had early on in a head coach before. Maybe something we can take advantage of during this winter period. I know a few of you in the comments will be saying, look what this director of football's done. Look at the players that he's given you. Look how much success you've had. Stick with him. If the right job comes up, I'm taking it now. Because Gifu in the top tier, it won't be like this one. Surely he's not going to go and find 7 or 8 players that can suddenly just compete in the top tier. It's a very different level of competition, and it is sides that are just filled with star-studded quality that I don't think we can match. So that's my plan for the winter anyway. I should mention on the final day of the season, if I haven't already, we won 3-1 against Yamagata. Really good victory. Even the right back, I can't remember his name now, Sakurai, he scored a screamer in stoppage time to get his first for the club. We dominated the game. But going back to the end of the season, if it hadn't been for our results, it wouldn't have mattered because Imabari lost at home to Kagoshima and Tokushima drew 4-all away from home as well. So we could have picked up no points today and still won the league. As it is, we picked up 6 and we did it in comfortable style in the end, albeit we lost more games than Imabari and had some hairy moments. But what a season it's been. What do you think I should do in the comments? And I know some of you are going to say stick with Gifu, but this is a different situation. We've not got a squad of 14, 15, 16 good players. We've got 11 left signed on. Some of them aren't senior level. This is a different challenge. We'll obviously see what the director of football does early in the window. I'm not sure if I'm expecting a miracle this time around, so you may return to see me on this screen with a job offer. There are a few clubs that have suggested there might be media interest, but we've never seen any of that really translate into something more. We have applied for the Jagiellonia job over in Poland because it's a 2.5-star job with a club that's massively underperforming. And we will look out for ones like that during the winter. If you're looking forward to that, seeing where we are at the start of next season, and reflecting on what was an unbelievable finish to the year, then please do put a thumbs up on it. If you're a long-term regular here, what on earth's going on? We're not supposed to do things like this. We're normally dragging our heels in Wales or moaning in the National League South or getting sacked in Northern Ireland. What are we doing getting 2 promotions in 3 seasons and being in the top tier of Japan with a bigger reputation than our club? I don't understand what's changed this year. We're going to make the most of it because the head coach doesn't normally go like this, and I'm loving every moment while we have a bit of success. Will it continue next year? Will we be at Gifu to see it? I'm not too sure, but surely our stock will rise with this. If you want to stay up to date and find out what happens, will it be a new job or another Hiroki Izumi transfer special? Subscribe and turn that notification bell on to stay up to date. A reminder that I'm going back to work now, so we'll be back to our usual schedule from tomorrow. 1 video every day at 3:30 from our long-term stories. Tomorrow it will be the head coach, so you can find out what happens, followed by a huge episode at Southend United on Monday afternoon, and so on and so forth. We'll also have a look at FM24 Mobile, and I've got a couple of other specials coming soon as well. But thank you very much for watching as always. You can find the Southend video from earlier today up in the eye above. There's also the Twitch channel where we'll be live in the morning, a football podcast for plenty of stuff there, and so much more as well. Thank you for your incredible support as we take Gifu to the top tier. This year's head coach is turning into a fairy tale. At what point is it going to go wrong?